Hi students, welcome to the class. The last class we have discussed about what? Yes, the kingdom Monerans characteristics. I hope all of you understood about the topic. Yes. Okay, so today we are going to discussing the topic kingdom Monera in bacteria. Kingdom Monera in bacteria. You know that the bacteria that's including the kingdom Monera. Okay. So, this bacteria are a type of biological cell. Okay, bacteria are a type of biological cell. They constitute a large domain of prokaryotic microorganisms. Okay, yes, and typically a few micrometer in length. Okay, typically you know that they are the microscopic, so their length also micrometer. Okay, bacteria have a number of shapes. Bacteria have a number of shapes, not only one shape. Okay, so that's ranging from sphere to rod and spiral. Okay, sphere to rod shape to spiral shape. Okay, yes. So this bacteria were among the first life from to appear on earth. So this bacteria, that is the first life on the earth. Okay. So and are present in most of its habitat, and this bacteria present in mostly all the habitat. Okay, bacteria inhabited both soil, water, and what is acidic hot springs, and the radioactive waste, and the deep earth crust. And this bacteria also live in a symbiotic and parasitic mode of nutrition, otherwise relationship. Okay, the relationship with what, maybe it is symbiotic, otherwise it is parasitic. Okay, it's a relationship with what, plants and animals. Okay, yes, and most bacteria not being characterized, and only about 27% of the bacterial phyla have species. Okay, bacterial phyla have the species that can be grown in the laboratory, only 27 species. Okay, and the study of the bacteria, that is known as what? Yes, bacteriology. What? Bacteriology. And these from the branch microbiology. What? Microbiology. Why they are microbiology? This comes from the branch microbiology because of they are microorganisms. We are not able to see in our naked eye. Okay, clear? Yes. So, see some features of the bacteria. First feature, the bacteria are unicellular organism, microbial organism. Okay, unicellular microscopic organism. Unicellular means what? They make their body only single cell. Okay, single cell make their body. Okay, that's why the bacteria are unicellular microscopic organism. They are microscopic organism. Why they are microscopic organism? They can only see under the microscope only. Okay, yes. And the second point, they lack nuclear membrane and chlorophyll. Okay, they lack nuclear membrane. They are not having what? Nuclear membrane. Okay, they are not having what? Nuclear membrane. You know the structure of bacteria. It's a structure of. So this is the structure of what? DNA. Okay, see the word. See here, there is no what? Membrane, nuclear membrane. Okay, there is no nuclear membrane. Just given what this nucleoid is there. Okay, and DNA is in the plasma membrane. There is no covering. Okay, and ribosomes. This is the cell wall, this is the plasma membrane, and this is the flagellum. So there is more mitochondria and what? Lysosome and Golgi bodies, These are endoplasmic reticulum. These all things are absent in the case of what this prokaryotic cell. Okay, so here it is only what the lack of nuclear membrane and chlorophyll. Okay, they lack of nuclear membrane and chlorophyll. The both are not in the case of what the bacteria. Okay, and they get their food from the living or dead organic materials, that is heterotrophs. Okay, the bacteria get their food from the living or dead organic materials. Okay, so that is what they are, heterotrophs. And next is cell organelles are absent. Cell organelles, there is no more cell organelles. Okay, no mitochondria, no Golgi bodies, no endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, see the nuclear membrane not there. So mostly all the cell organelles are absent in case of what, bacteria cell. Okay, so now we are going to discussing about the different types of bacteria.
Okay, so the topic of this video are some of the basic characteristics of bacteria. So let's get started. Well, you might know that there's two big broad categories of cells, the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. You know, when you look at this picture right here, you can see, wow, the eukaryotes are just much larger. Well, what are eukaryotes? Well, these are cells that belong to protista and fungus and plants and animals. But our video today is focusing on prokaryotic cells, the bacteria, and then the group of called archaea. Now we're mainly focusing on the bacteria today, but bacteria and archaea are examples of prokaryotes. So let's talk about them now. So when we focus on the cell structure of bacteria, probably their most defining feature is that they're prokaryotes. They lack a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. Organelles that you might be familiar with if you studied cell parts. They lack, for instance, a nucleus. They lack mitochondria. They lack the rough and smooth ERs. They lack Golgi bodies. But what do they have then? Well, they're cells, so they're going to have genetic material. They're going to have a chromosome in what we call the nucleoid region. Now, it's all wound up, you see in this picture right here. It's not in the nucleus. It's just kind of floating around in like the middle of the cell in the area kind of called the nucleoid region. They also have these other segments of DNA called plasmids, and these are ring-shaped structures separate from the main chromosome that has genes on them that they can actually transfer to one another. We'll talk about that in a little more detail in a moment. Well, another organelle they have are ribosomes. Ribosomes, you might know, are organelles that help to create proteins. Our diagram here, notice they have a long whip-like tail on them called a flagellum. The plural version would be flagella. So sometimes a bacteria will have a single flagellum. Sometimes they'll have multiple flagella. But when they whip their flagellum back and forth, it propels them through their watery environment. It's how they move around. Notice going around the outside of the cell are these short hair-like extensions called pili, the singular version being pilus. And these things will actually help to attach and anchor the bacterium onto whatever it is they're growing upon. They also have another function which is kind of interesting.
So see, next is what bacteria, different shapes bacteria. Okay? Yes. First, that is rod-shaped bacteria, rod-shaped or bacilli. What? Rod-shaped or bacilli. Example, Escherichia coli or E. coli. What? Escherichia coli or E. coli, Lactobacillus, Salmonella, typhi. These are the single rod-shaped bacteria. The shape of this bacteria, that is single rod, like. Okay? Single rod-shaped bacteria, that is what? Bacilli. This Escherichia coli, Lactobacillus, Salmonella, typhi. Okay? And this Acetobacter and Bacillus anthracis, these are maybe formed what? Chains. You know that this Acetobacter Yes, these acetobacter, rhizobium bacteria, these present in the leguminous plants. Okay, leguminous plants on the root nodule, and this helps to what nitrogen fixation. What nitrogen fixation? This acetobacter that helps to what nitrogen fixation, and this Bacillus anthracis that cause fever. Okay, that cause fever. Clear? So this rot-shaped bacteria, rot-shaped or bacilli, these Escherichia coli, Lactobacillus, Salmonella tymphi, these are the rot-shaped bacteria, single rows. These are the single rows, okay, and thus they form, okay, they form what chains, that is this Acetobacter and Bacillus anthracis. Is it clear? Yes. So see, next one is spherical or corky. Okay, spherical shape or corky. So this single cell corky, that is corky. Okay, single cell one, that is corky, and paired one what diplocorky. Paired one what diplocorky, and the cluster or chain formation, that is staphylococcus. What? Staphylococcus. Okay. So this staphylococcus, the single one, this corky and diplococcus, this first stage is a corky, and the second stage, that is what diplococcus, and the third stage is what staphylococcus. This leads to what bacterial pneumonia. Okay, it will affect the lungs. It will affect the lungs. Okay, yes. And the next one is spiral or spirillum. What is this spiral or spiral? That means you know the structure like a spiral shape. This bacteria like spiral shape. And this spherical, that one, this is a spherical single, and this is a pair, and make a what chain, that is spherical or corky. Okay, clear? Just make a cluster. And the spiral or spirilla, this is the spiral shaped bacteria. Okay, or spirilla. And the example of spirillum bacteria. Example what? Spirillum bacteria. And the next one is Vibrio bacteria or Vibrio shape. Okay, Vibrio shape or coma shape. They are just like coma shaped bacteria, like that, like the coma shaped bacteria. Okay, so this is example Vibrio cholera. This goes to what? Cholera. You know that cholera disease. That's we get from how the houseflies, true houseflies. Okay, so these are the some different shapes of bacteria. I hope all of you understood this topic. Okay, thank you.